Memphis, Tennessee, known for blues, barbecue, and AutoZone Park, home of the Memphis Redbirds. And tonight they'll host their arch rivals, the Iowa Cubs, on the minor league game of the week. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dick Gabriel. My partner Doug Flynn visited Graceland yesterday. You're looking good.
Well, thank you very much.
He is channeling the spirit of Elvis. So you're channeling Manny Ramirez, who now is a player coach for the Iowa Cubs.
You know, this is kind of a bold move, Dick, but Manny Ramirez is one of the great hitters of all time. They're hoping that the knowledge that he has of how to hit will carry over with a lot of their young prospects.
And one of those great prospects, perhaps their best, Javi Baez, their talented shortstop.
He is a very talented shortstop. I know he made 44 errors last year, but that tells me he's getting to a lot of balls. Most of them are on throwing errors. He is a tremendous, tremendous player, and look for him to be in the big leagues pretty soon.
Reigning PCL Player of the Week. Cardinals have an outfield full of prospects.
Wow, they have Piscotty, Taveras, Grichuk. All these guys would make any team in the big leagues right now feel pretty happy. So we're going to get a chance to see the future of the St. Louis Cardinals here tonight.
Lots of rain in Memphis. This is technically the second game of the day, but the fans are back in the ballpark, and so is Lauren Gardner. She'll take us through it tonight. Lauren.
Well, absolutely, boys. The second game, the first game, get this, was completed in under 8 minutes. It was a continuation of a doubleheader that took place last night and experienced delays due to inclement weather. I did speak with the crew chief, who said we are scheduled for an on-time start this evening, but the radar does not look promising. I did speak with some of the pitching staff with Memphis, who said they are obviously fatigued after a doubleheader last night. They were able to go home and sleep in between games today. We'll see what happens, and they're also scheduled for a doubleheader for tomorrow. So a long few days for both of these clubs.
And the Redbirds did close out that 8-minute victory. They'll go for the sweep tonight. Starting lineups in just a minute. It's the minor league game of the week next on the CBS Sports Network. Welcome back, AutoZone Park, Memphis, Tennessee. Rains have held off. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll have baseball tonight. Here's the way the Iowa Cubs will come to the plate tonight, led by Javi Baez in the 3-hole. 400 average over the last week and a slugging percentage of 900. And you see Ryan Kalish in the lineup, just down from the big club. Sayoshi Wada will bat tonight. National League rules in this ball club. And the Cubs will face Tim Cooney, the big left-hander, 6'3", 195, out of Wake Forest University, third-round pick of the Cardinals in 2012. And there you see his numbers, trying to get himself up to the big club as well. It's going to be fun to watch him tonight against this Iowa ball club. This is a Redbirds team that is 6-3 so far this year against Iowa, including a win earlier today at around noon. Here's the way they'll play defense, the Redbirds. Tommy Pham, Randall Grichuk, Steve Piscotty across the outfield. Jermaine Curtis, Pete Cosmic, Greg Garcia, Xavier Scruggs around the infield, and Ed Easley, the local boy behind the plate. He, of course, is a fan favorite, and we are ready for baseball here at AutoZone Park. Glad to have you along on the CBS Sports Network. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and Lauren Gardner in downtown Memphis as Matt Cesar leads things off for the Redbirds. And you'd look at his name and you would never figure out how to pronounce it from the spelling, but there you have it, Matt Cesar. Talented center fielder for the Cubs. Last night's game actually ended this morning at 12:53 local time, 12:53 Central, thanks to the PCL curfew, with Memphis up 2-1. He sticks his bat out. And how about that grab by Steve Piscotty? I believe you were just talking about him.
Yeah, I believe that's one of the young men, as we looked at this outfield, one of the best, most promising outfields in all of baseball right now. And Piscotty shows you a little bit about his range, and he's not afraid to lay out. We know he can swing the bat. Now we get a chance to see a little bit of that defense.
And in case you follow such things, the talented Oscar Taveras gets the night off. He might be the best prospect on this Memphis ball club. We'll talk about him a little bit later on, but Piscotty showing why the Cardinals are so high on him. And as Doug said, you'll see him in the bigs very likely very soon. Arismendi Alcantara stands in now for the Cubs.
But you look for a lot of balls to be put in play tonight, because Cooney was voted by the organization as having the best control of any pitcher in the organization. So he's going to be around the plate all night long.
Cosmo with a long throw, 2 down. Cubs 27 and 23 coming into tonight's game. Memphis 26 and 27. Both teams trying to stay in the race. Still fairly early in the season. And now Javi Baez got off to a tough start. Won for his first 20, battled a back injury. Then he was on the DL for a week with a bad ankle. But of late, he is absolutely on fire. Number 9 overall pick by the Cubs in 2011. Out of Arlington Country Day School in Jacksonville, Florida.
You look at any baseball scouting report, Taveras and Javi Baez are in the top 5, if not 1 and 2 in the nation, as the 2 brightest prospects in baseball.
That should stay in the ballpark. That is an absolute rocket, but straight up, and Tommy Pham makes the grab. So it's a good start for Tim Cooney and the Redbirds. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. We'll go to the bottom of the first. No score in Memphis. Minor league game of the week on the CBS Sports Network. Just underway here in Memphis as we come to the bottom of the first inning with no score. Here's the way the Cardinals AAA ball club, the Memphis Redbirds, will head for the plate tonight, including Piscotty there in the 3-hole. Xavier Scruggs had a walk-off home run that decided game 1 yesterday, so we'll see if there's any more fire in his bat. They will be facing a left-hander, Sayoshi Wada, for the Cubs, making his 10th start of the season. He's played his first 9 years of professional baseball in Japan before moving across the water. He was an outstanding player and the NPB most valuable player, in fact, for that league in 2010, 4-2 with that 2.35 ERA, Doug. So that's somebody else that the Cubs believe could help them. And we'll take a look at the defense for the Cubs across the outfield. Kalish, Cesar, Casper Wells, and around the horn, Christian Nieva, Javi Baez, Arismendi Alcantara, Chris Vallejo, and Eli Whiteside is behind the plate.
The game has certainly gone international, which I think is for the best. And this game is all over the place. So you're seeing a lot more players now from Korea and Japan. We've seen some from Italy this year.
Yep.
But baseball has grown, and that's one of the things that baseball's done a real good job of, is trying to push its game across the country and try to catch up with some of the other pro sports as far as their marketing.
Now let's catch up with Lauren downstairs. Lauren.
Well, you guys, you just spoke so much about Wada and all of his success over in Japan, and he came over to the States with the Orioles in 2012, and during spring training tweaked his elbow to the point where he had to undergo Tommy John surgery, and it took him a while, obviously, to recover. He's very regimented in that recovery, and they did not pick up his option last year at the end of the season. He struggled a little bit, and he was picked up here with the Iowa Cubs and has had a lot of success so far at the beginning of the season.
Well, you're right about that. He is ranked right now 4th in the PCL and ERA with that 2.35 mark. So another pitcher had to undergo Tommy John and actually pitched well when he came off the disabled list. He made 19 starts with Norfolk, and in his start against Pawtucket shortly after that, 10 strikeouts. But as Lauren said, they gave up on him, and the Cubs decided to take a shot, and so far it's paid off.
Well, you know, Theo Epstein is taking a lot of shots right now. I mean, he's making some bold moves. One, getting Ramirez over here, and he brings a little bit of history with him, but feeling like that this might be the time he can help their organization. Taking a kid that's just had surgery, see something in him that maybe no one else did. So, you know what happens? You and I talked once before. When the Cubs win one, then what are we going to have to talk about?
Greg Garcia had 2 base hits in the victory yesterday over the Cubs. Wada making his 2nd start against the Redbirds. Pitched very well last time against Memphis. On April 12th, in fact, he shut out Memphis for 6 2/3 at a career high, tied a career high with 10 strikeouts. Gave up just 4 hits, no walks. Cubs won that one 5-0. And Garcia chases upstairs, 1 down. Interesting delivery for Wada with a little hesitation.
One thing you see from a lot of the international pitchers, especially from Korea and from Japan, and from what I was told, many of them were studied this game from a book, but they also are very, very dominant in the way that they try to get their balance in order, because a lot of them have taken martial arts, as you're very familiar with, So it's very important that they get the very good balance on the mound. And part of that is that hesitation, because you can even stop, perfect balance, and then makes his delivery to the plate.
Randall Grichuk, 6'1", 195 out of Rosenberg, Texas. Former first-round pick of the LA Angels of Anaheim. Was a 24th overall pick in '09 out of Lamar Consolidated High School in Texas. And in fact, last year, the Rawlings minor league Gold Glove winner in right field. So as Doug mentioned earlier, prospects across the outfield from Memphis, but Wada having his way right now.
Well, they have some good-looking young players. And I was serious when I said that this is an outfield that there's some teams in the big leagues right now would take as is.
1-2 pitch.
Boy, a little cut fastball right there. Both these pitchers throw 3 pitches, fastball, slider, change. That time we saw a variation of the fastball, a little two-seamer that cut in on the right-handed hitter.
You know, as well as Wada has pitched this year, he's been without a victory since May the 1st. Got a win over Omaha in 5 innings and a 1-0 win by Iowa. Pitching has really carried Iowa so far this year. A loss his last time out. High and deep going back is Kalish, and he won't get that one. That's on the berm.
Well, we talked about this outfield and some of the pop that they have in this lineup. For Grichuk, that's home run number 10.
RBI number 32 and a 1-0 Memphis lead. Wada left it up and out over the plate, and Grichuk knew what to do with it.
He knows right then that he's let one get away from him. Pitchers know. They can tell as the hitters can if they got enough of it to get out of the ballpark.
Everybody in the ballpark knew that one as soon as it came off his bat. Now Stephen Piscotty. You got a good look at the berm where that ball landed. Popular spot for Redbirds fans. Piscotty with 4 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Out of Stanford University, where Wada just blew that high heat right by him.
It was interesting talking about these kids in the outfield. And he said all 3 of them, very intelligent kids, very baseball savvy. You don't see a lot of nonsense out of them. They just come to the ballpark to play. I thought that was very interesting, especially in today's climate with the way the game has changed a little bit.
Now Xavier Scruggs. Product of UNLV. 19th round pick in '08 by the Cardinals. Had the home run yesterday afternoon in a game that was actually technically started yesterday evening. It was supposed to start late afternoon, part of a doubleheader. As Lauren mentioned, they got the first game in, but almost got the second game in.
It was a 3-hour and 55-minute delay,
Yep.
And then they ended up with going 3 minutes past curfew, so they had to stop. And I think my thoughts would have been it'd be better to ask for forgiveness and permission. Let's
Just
try to
keep
get this
playing.
last inning in.
Hey, you've already missed curfew. You know you're going to be grounded. Just play. Wada still trying to work up and in. It worked on Piscotty. It worked on Garcia. Second walk-off homer of the year for Xavier Scruggs. You saw how the ball carries in this ballpark. Not a lot of wind tonight.
Now, if it stayed just like this, it'd be perfect.
Well, we mentioned we're in downtown Memphis and so many great landmarks, Sun Records, and the Rendezvous, if you like barbecue ribs, and who doesn't. Peabody Hotel featuring the Ducks right down the street.
I was a visitor there and a spectator watching that yesterday as well.
You feel like a little kid, don't you?
You do.
Watching duck. They're ducks.
It makes you want to go get one as a pet. And they're smarter than your dogs.
Ooh, man, I don't know if your dogs would like to hear that.
I hope they're not watching.
Oh, my God. If you could only hear what our producer just asked us. I'm not going to, well, go ahead.
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He wanted to know where the Ducks, all they were quacked up to be. Well played.
You know, there was a lot being made about the ball hit pretty good to right.
Rocketed. Casper Wells on the run. He's not going to get it. Came up with it barehanded, but Xavier Scruggs still swinging a hot bat.
Yeah, went with the other way with the pitch that time. Got 2 strikes on him. Had some good swings at the fastballs in. That time looked like the ball's right down the middle of the plate. Maybe just a hair late, but it's better to be just a little late than a little bit early, and that time the ball goes down the line for a double.
Looked like he was trying to bust him up inside, and it just
didn't get it in. That's right. He's got that good cut fastball. That one looked like it was pretty straight.
So now Ed Easley, popular player here in Memphis. Memphis ties. Easley, a former winner of the Johnny Bench Award, given to the best catcher in college baseball. He won it when he was at Mississippi State. Your good friend Johnny Bench.
Yep. He takes a lot of pride in that award there, and he's very honored each year. I don't care what he has on his calendar. He will always be there to present that award.
Easley coming from a powerhouse college baseball program down in Starkville, out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. Signed by the Diamondbacks as a sandwich selection between the first and second rounds in '07. Was in the Diamondbacks minor league system through last year. Signed with the Cardinals, a minor league contract prior to this past season. Man in scoring position, 2 down. If you're just joining us, Redbirds got on the scoreboard. Randall Grichuk with a home run well over the left field wall. Off the fists, right at Baez. Easy play, and that'll do it. Here's the way it happened. He got every bit of this one. It traveled an estimated 358 feet. A souvenir for a lucky fan and a 1-0 lead for the Redbirds. Back in Memphis where the Redbirds are taking a 1-0 lead. We're joined in the booth now by Kevin Kane, President and CEO of the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau. And first thought I have is what a great job. A great city, and you get to tell people all about it.
Blues Brew and barbecue and Redbirds baseball. You can't get any better than this, huh?
It's such a great destination city, isn't it?
It is. You know, we have over 10 million visitors annually that come to Memphis. Obviously, we're the home of the blues, the birthplace of rock and roll, the cradle of soul. Basically, everything from America's music resonated from either Memphis, the Mississippi Delta, New Orleans, or St. Louis, or Chicago. So we're right here in the hotbed of it.
We've checked out the barbecue last night. We checked out a little blues band downtown.
There you go.
We went to Graceland. We've done the Peabody. We've done the Duck Walk. What have we missed?
Well, there's a lot of great things here, and obviously you took in some great music. Obviously, you love the music.
Yeah.
It's a great sports town. We love our Redbirds. This is big Cardinal country, obviously, and you know, being so close to St. Louis, you couldn't have a better AAA affiliate.
I was about to ask you, what does the downtown ballpark mean to downtown?
Well, I will tell you, the Memphis Grizzlies will tell you Michael Heisley, who's deceased now, who was the owner of the Vancouver Grizzlies that moved the team to Memphis. His decision was made because of the success of this ballpark in downtown Memphis.
It's a beautiful facility. We were commenting on the batter's eye. Most of them have a big screen up, but I love the way you put the trees up in center field. And they've done a very nice job with this ballpark. But it seats 14,000, I think.
14,000, and you know, it's
rain kind of knocked the crowd down a little bit.
Yeah, rain hurt a little bit tonight, but they get big crowds on the weekends, and you know, they love the baseball here. This is a great sports city.
Chris Valleca leading things off for the Cubs. Xavier Scruggs grabs one out. You mentioned the Cardinals. The fact that St. Louis has such a strong home ball club, how has that helped? Because I know they just purchased this ball club.
You know, just about everybody on that Cardinals World Championship team came through Memphis.
Yep,
We've had everybody here, and you know, that just makes it so good for the fans here. It makes it, you know, we get them coming up and we get them coming back down. We get them when they're on rehab from an injury. So it really makes a great synergy for the two cities.
Well, that's impressive. The Cardinals have always been known for developing great talent, and that went for years where a lot of teams got away from that because of free agency and going out and buying players, but that's never stopped with the Cardinal organization.
No, they've always been very supportive, and this team's always been competitive. I think we're second place right now, and a game or two out of first. We always got a good team on the field.
Doug and I are fortunate enough to travel the country each week and see different minor league ballparks. There's a lot of personality to this ballpark.
There's a lot of personality. I mean, people are having a good time here. There's people that are not even sure who the Redbirds are playing. They're just here enjoying the evening and, having a hot dog, drinking a beer, soft drink with their families, just having fun and, cheering their home team on.
We heard that if you want the best place to go to eat or to dine is to come here at the ballpark.
Well, you got, the Rendezvous is kind of our institution of, Memphis is famous for our barbecue, and the Rendezvous is right across the street in the alley. And, of course, they serve their famous barbecue nachos here, which I think Memphis made barbecue nachos famous.
And we are told by everyone who knew we were coming that those outsell hot dogs in this ballpark only in Memphis.
Probably only in Memphis. You can only have that. I think it's the same for the Memphis Grizzlies. The Rendezvous has the barbecue nachos there, and you see people walking around 2 or 3 platters of them at the game. So.
Well, we have thoroughly enjoyed our stay here, and I tell you, some of the friendliest people that I have ever been around. That started at the hotel and then just carried over here to the ballpark. You should be very proud of that.
You guys were from Kentucky, Kentucky, Tennessee. We're just nice people in the South.
That's true.
So.
Glad to hear you say that. And my partner here just happens to be a huge Cardinal fan.
That's exactly right. Even though I love Doug's Cincinnati Reds teams, but Christian Villanueva is.
I will tell you, USA Today did vote. Memphis was one of the 4 friendliest cities in America in a couple of their polls. So
this may have tied the game here. Nope, that's going to stay in the ballpark.
What was friendlier than Memphis?
Oh, I don't know. It was all southern cities, though, believe it or not. It was all the people in the South.
Hold that thought. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across, and Memphis still with a 1-0 lead here at AutoZone Park in downtown Memphis. Back with more of the minor league game of the week on the CBS Sports Network. 1-0 Redbirds here in Memphis, and as we mentioned, Manny Ramirez is now with the Iowa Cubs, and Lauren Gardner had a chance to talk to someone with the Cubs who was a little surprised when he heard the news.
Well, Coach, earlier this week news broke that Manny Ramirez signed with the Iowa Cubs as a player. Coach, what was your initial reaction to the news?
Well, at first it was a little shocked like everybody. We were kind of, wow, how's he going to fit in? But then the more you hear about Manny and his work ethic, and, obviously he's one of the greatest hitters that's ever played. So I'm looking forward to talking to him about hitting, watching him hit, watching him work. I think he'll be a real good example for our younger guys, Javi Baez and Alcantara and Villanueva and those guys, to see him work, because he's a tremendous worker, and I've heard great things about him.
You just spoke about some of the big prospects, including Baez. What do you think he's going to bring to some of these young players specifically?
Well, I think sometimes the young guys who've had success their whole early in their career don't understand how hard it is to keep doing well in the big leagues. And Manny's always been known as a real hard worker, and I think he'll show these guys that even at 41, 42 years old, that it takes a lot of work to be a major league hitter and a good major league player.
It's going to be quite a tandem with you and him here. Thank you very much, Brian.
It should be interesting.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Lauren. Okay. Brian Harper, 16 years in the bigs. You add that to Manny's experience. There's a lot of good info.
Brian was a great player. He's on the 91 World Championship teams with the Twins that beat the Braves. He's a 295 lifetime hitter in the big leagues. And obviously he knows a little bit about it. As we talked about earlier, maybe a risk that Theo Epstein has taken, but they're hoping there's a change in the Manny Ramirez, and they're going to see one that is going to become a mentor and a teacher to the young prospects. No doubt he can swing the bat.
And so can Pete Cosmo, base hit to lead things off. We're talking with Kevin Kane, the president, CEO of the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau. Well, let me ask you, we've been bragging on your city. How's business? Are people finding their way to Memphis?
Business is great. We're off to a great start. We had the American Athletic Conference men's tournament this year. And, of course, UConn went on to win the national championship.
Hey. Who'd they be careful there now. Don't go too far.
Well, they beat the Tigers on the way to the conference championship here in Memphis, so we were a little sad.
Well, then they beat us in the finals.
And then we had the South Regional here with Florida, who emerged out of here. So we had a huge March, and we're having a good summer so far.
It's one of the things we've enjoyed as well about seeing ballparks that are built downtown. They've kind of rejuvenated the downtowns across America minor league baseball.
thousands of apartments and condos were built around this neighborhood as a result of this. I think when AutoZone Park was built, there was about 7,000 people living in downtown Memphis. I think there's now over 20,000 people living in downtown Memphis.
Wow.
All in a decade. So it's tremendous.
Jermaine Curtis lifting at the right field. And an easy play for Casper Wells. 1 out.
Well, I've heard for years, I'd never been to Beale Street. And I said, we're here, I got to go. There's certain things that are just kind of on your semi-bucket list that you got to do. So we did the Graceland, and for anyone who happened to be in my era, you have to go. It's that simple. And to go to Beale Street, and you could walk into any one of 15 places and hear unbelievable music.
Great live music, 7 nights a week. I think every day of the year except for Christmas night, and I think that's it. I think there are nights or something going on.
Tommy Pham put the charge into it, but that'll stay in the ballpark. Matt Cesar with a play, 2 down. I was down for the Liberty Bowl working that bowl game a few years ago and got to head over to Beale Street at night, you know, and that's just a real experience in and of itself.
It really is. In fact, the Liberty Bowl, they do a parade for the two teams, you know, the day before the game on Beale Street, draws, you know, about 20,000 people down there. And, you know, Liberty Bowl is the 7th oldest bowl in the NCAA.
Sure is.
So a lot of tradition with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl here in Memphis.
Wow.
Here we are at AutoZone Park, AutoZone Liberty Bowl. See, AutoZone's got a big presence in the city, as you can tell.
Well, if there's one thing you could say to people that are watching tonight about coming to visit your city, what would that be?
Well, I think you're in store for a great time. Memphis is an authentic city that you can experience things here that you cannot experience anyplace else in the world. This is where rock and roll was born.
That's right.
And, of course, the National Civil Rights Museum. I could go on and on about all the one-of-a-kind experiences you can have here, but it's got to be on everybody's bucket list, so come see us.
What about Tim Cooney swinging the bat? Base hit to right. Now the top of the order for the Redbirds.
They look like a pretty good hitter up there. I hate it when these pitchers have better swings than I had.
Well, you know, Doug talked about his age group, his demographic, you know, Elvis. But when I went through Graceland a couple of years ago, I couldn't get over the young people who were just sort of discovering that music and Elvis's persona.
This is a fact. 650,000 visitors a year to Graceland. Only the White House as a private residence has more visitors than Elvis Presley's home. Now get this. 70% of the people that go through there are under the age of 35, which means they weren't even born when Elvis recorded his last hit.
I believe it.
Wow.
Top of the order, Garcia struck out his last time up. Cooney with his 6th career base hit, 2nd of the season.
We call that the E-economy here in Memphis, Elvis economy.
Well, you can see we brought a little bit of Elvis with us to the ballpark tonight. I got him right here. Got little glasses. Started off the show tonight with I tell you what, this is huge right here. This will go right next to my World Series trophies.
There you go.
He's not kidding.
No.
And he looked all over for a jumpsuit that would fit him to wear tonight.
Well, I was going to play the fat Elvis. You can see my little bobblehead right there. There's the king. That's right, baby. You pick it up and your voice just starts doing stuff.
Starts quivering.
It starts quivering.
Thank you very much.
Everybody down here in Memphis, I'm sure, does that. But it still is part of the vibrant economy.
No question about it. It's huge. They come from all over the world. I mean, Memphis is a big-time international destination from all over the planet because, you know, music is a universal language. Everybody, they can't speak English, but they can sing our songs.
That's true.
And Wada now in some trouble with the bases loaded in, 2 outs. As Randall Grichuk makes his way to the plate. A home run his last time up. And take another look. This was a massive fly ball that cleared the left field wall with plenty of room to spare.
Boy, he knows as soon as he hits it, too. Not much doubt about that one. Not one of the bigger guys on this team, but I tell you what, this outfield that they have when they've got all 3 guys in the lineup is pretty tough.
What kind of baseball town is Memphis when it comes to actually talking the games and things like that?
Well, you know, obviously we've never had a major league team here. We've had minor league, AA and AAA for going all the way back to the 50s. And
Memphis Chicks.
Memphis Chicks. And you know, we were with everybody from the New York Mets, the Expos. You go right down the list. We were an affiliate with a lot of teams through the years. But, you know, youth baseball is tremendously huge in this part of the country, obviously. Just thousands of kids that, you know, play competitively and play all year long.
One of my dear friends was broadcast for a few years here that I played with for 4 years in Montreal, Charlie Lee.
Charlie Lee, absolutely.
Yeah, one of the best people
Rest
I've
in
ever
peace.
been around. That's
great,
right.
Great guy.
You were mentioning the people who live in the downtown area and beyond center and right field. There's some apartments, some condos, and a lot of the players live there. So when they get off the road or when they're done with a late game, they can walk home.
These guys are passing through because they're trying to make the bigs, or they're getting traded. They're going a lot of different directions. So these guys really get involved in the community. You see the Redbird players out and about, and they're really fan friendly. They did something before the ball game tonight for a lot of the fans.
Yeah, I saw them signing autographs out there. That was great.
Richard got every bit of that, but it's foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, he just looks so solid and compact at the plate. Not a lot of movement. Keeps his hands back and just waits on the ball to get to him.
Now, with those numbers, how long will he be in AAA before he gets called up?
Well, it depends on who's up ahead of him.
Yeah, right.
That's the problem with your talented outfield. You've got 3 guys who could go up to a lot of other ball clubs. The best prospect's not even playing tonight, Oscar Taveras. Big pitch coming up from Wada. Got him looking. Richard obviously not happy about it. And the Cubs wriggle off. Oh, Kevin, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Welcome to Memphis. Hope to see you again this season.
Thanks for staying, buddy.
Kevin Kane, President and CEO of the Memphis Visitors Bureau. 1-0 Memphis. Memphis 1, Iowa 0. Redbirds going for their second win of the day. Lauren Gardner's was someone who was a key element in the first win of the day. Lauren.
Yes, reliever David Aardsma for the Redbirds played a very big role in today's win. You pitched a shutout 7th. You were pretty busy last night, though. I think a lot of fans watching at home don't realize what your bodies go through just warming up, and especially during a rain delay.
Especially a game like last night, it was so late. Having to get ready last inning and then having to shut it down, and that's tough. Come back the next morning, do it all again, and especially if you've been throwing a lot during the season, that takes a lot, big toll on you.
How's that arm feeling now?
Feels all right. I want to get out there, but they're going to give me a day off today, which is nice. But you always, especially as a bullpen guy, want to get out and pitch.
Well, that was very nice of you, and you've had a lot of experience in this game. Your 12th professional season, 8 professional teams. What kind of advice do you have to offer some of the younger prospects coming up through the system?
One of the things I definitely try to tell them is they don't know what it takes to stay there. It's getting there is one thing. A lot of these guys don't get a chance to get there. It's staying. And that's where you got to work hard. You got to put in the effort every day. Do the little things that everybody else doesn't see, or that things. Try to find one superstar and work harder than them every single day, and hopefully they get a chance to stay.
And you had the chance to play with some of the superstars. Obviously, big news broke about Manny Ramirez that will be joining the Iowa Cubs hopefully later this month sometime. What was he like to play with, and how do you think he's going to fit in as a player coach?
Manny was fun. One of the things a lot of people don't know is he'd go to the game early, he'd go to the field early around noon, work out, do all of his work. So and then leave and come back. So a lot of people wouldn't think that he wasn't working hard or anything, but he was actually one of the hardest workers we had on the team. He was a lot of fun in the clubhouse, kept it light, and I'm excited to see him over there in the dugout. I want to see him. I want to face him. That's one of the big things. Being a teammate's one thing, but I want to face him.
Part of a fun AAA rivalry, and you've played, like I said, with 8 major league teams: Boston, Yankees, San Francisco, Dodgers. What was the most fun rivalry that you've been a part of?
Absolutely, the most fun had to be the Cardinals, Cubs. Being on the Cubs side, it was a blast going to St. Louis, playing. Whether we won or lost after the game, it always felt like the Cardinals fans accepted us as you had a great game, pat you on the back, and take you out afterwards. It was a lot of fun, and I love that rivalry.
Well, David, thank you so much for joining us and imparting some of your wisdom on us, especially for some of the fans at home. Life in baseball, especially at this level, is not always as glamorous as it seems.
No, it's not. It's not the prettiest league, and that's one of those things. If you want to, make it back to big leagues, you got to do the work.
It's part of the dream. Thank you very much.
So, thank you.
Thanks, Lauren, and thank you, David, a guy who played his college baseball first at Penn State, then transferred to Rice. He was part of the 03 national title team, and in the College World Series, Mr. Flynn, he retired 15 of the 16 batters he faced and announced himself as a big league prospect, and in fact taken by those Cubs back in 05.
I tell you,
I'm sorry, by the Giants in the first round.
when you hear him talk about 12 years now, being with 8 different ball clubs, he still knows there's a chance if he continues to pitch well that he's going to have an opportunity to get back to the big leagues. But I loved his advice that find somebody who's a superstar or someone who you recognize as better than you and go outwork them. If you'll do that, you got a chance to stay in this game a long time.
Well, it's paying off for him. He now with 8 saves and 8 chances, tied for 4th in the PCL. Eli Whiteside with a fly ball. Piscotty surrounds it. 2 out. You know, you just hope that the young guys are smart enough to take his advice. Not all of them will, but some of them will.
Well, you're exactly right. Well, the ones that make it are going to be there trying to just be a sponge and gather every bit of information they can. The ones that think that they're already good enough to be there may struggle a little bit unless they're just exceptional talents.
Now, Sayoshi Wada will try to help himself. Trailing 1-0, but worked out of a bases-loaded jam here in the top of the inning. You can see in a limited role swings the bat fairly well.
Well, they all seem to have that little Ichiro move where they just sort of drop the bat down and they're headed to first base, but they leave their hands in a good hitting position. And of course, he's a pitcher. He may have played other positions when he was in Japan as well.
Cooney working him up, working him down, in and out.
Not trying to compare him to Ichiro, obviously.
No.
What a great hitter.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, you look at how good some of these guys were and how many hits they ended up with, and they're still 1,500 short of Pete. Wow.
So Cooney with another strong inning. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across for the Iowa Cubs. We'll go to the bottom of the 3rd. Memphis with a 1-0 lead. Minor league game of the week on the CBS Sports Network. Tomorrow's conversations start tonight. Get the latest word in sports on Leadoff tonight at midnight Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, Lauren Gardner at AutoZone Park in downtown Memphis, where the Redbirds and the Cubs have a good one going. 1-0, the home team leads.
How about this big old board they got here? Is this thing outstanding? My goodness, see the apartments?
Just behind it, yes, is the apartment complex. And there's a great look at this ballpark as the sun sets. And yeah, a lot of the ball players live in those apartments right behind the ballpark, which was extremely convenient early this morning when they got done leaving, when they left the clubhouse, which had to be near 2 a.m. local time, 3 a.m. Eastern.
I was talking to one of the clubhouse guys who happened to be the Iowa visitors clubhouse, and I said, what time did you get home this morning? He said 4:30.
Wow.
The time he stayed, cleaned the uniforms, shined the shoes. He had to get up this morning, went to the grocery store, bought breakfast stuff, brought it to the ballpark, cooked breakfast for the guys so that they could play and eat. Then when they left, he had to go back out, buy some stuff for them to eat tonight. When I walked in, he had some good-looking food, and, of course, he didn't offer me any.
No, he knew you were going to get the press box offerings. So
we are?
You were all taken care of.
I didn't get any, though.
Well, that's a rookie mistake right there.
Well, I was down on the field trying to glean some
You're
information.
down working is what you're telling me.
Yes, sir.
I respect that.
Well, we have a Brian Harper, who we saw interviewed.
Yep.
He and I have a relationship. Chris Valleca was once with the Cincinnati Reds, first baseman for Iowa, so we were just catching up.
Piscotty inside out. Right at Alcantara, 1 down. So they've kept Piscotty off the bases, but they've had a difficult time with the men who flank him in the lineup, Grichuk and Xavier Scruggs, who doubled his last time up, but was stranded. Redbirds have already left 4 in less than 3 innings.
You know, I think a good point that was brought up by Kevin Kane was when you look at the numbers at some of these guys, how long will they stay down here? And your point was to, well, a lot of times it just depends what you have in front of you. And the Cardinals, with the success they've had over the last several years, obviously not hitting as well this year as they did last year, but they've got an awfully good ball club. Going to be tough to break that lineup.
You know, one of the best examples of that is your friend Brian Harper. You mentioned the fact that he did win a World Series ring. And he spent 16 years in the bigs, but far too many of those years wasted on the bench with teams that went out and acquired him but didn't really need him.
That's right.
So teams were smarter about acquiring players. Not that the Cardinals aren't, obviously, but some teams just stockpile in the wrong place.
And I think the only reason he really got to play a lot is because Tim Loudner was the catcher in Minnesota in those days. Got hurt, and then Brian got a chance to get in there and play and had a great year. Big collision at home plate, I remember, with, I believe, Terry Pendleton, and hung on to the ball. Now in his 14th year, I believe he played 16 years, and now in his 14th year. I tell you, my hat's off to the guys that are staying around here now and helping these kids develop as young men and as players. And I did it for 2 years as a coach and a manager, and you're at the ballpark a long time.
Scruggs stepped out to get a little more comfortable.
Pop Warner taking over for, he's only been here a couple of years.
By the way, Brian Harper was the catcher for that 7th game thrown by Jack Morris, one of the greatest games
what a gem.
in the history of the World Series.
Hall of Famer Jack Morris, you think?
That's the one. I think so.
He's
there's a lot of debate on that. I think he is.
Well, I do too. Because he was a gamer. When I got traded to the Tigers, he was pitching that night, and he came out in the 7th inning at the Yankees and I think we were down 1 run. And I saw him take a spike off. He was so mad, fired up against the wall, and in that old Tiger ballpark, it was all wood, it stuck into the wall and spiked it. And I thought, man, this guy, he gets it. I mean, he is a fiery, fiery competitor.
Xavier Scruggs looking for another extra base hit. He's had 2, and that will find the leather of Ryan Kalish, but Scruggs with a couple of extra base hits over the last 2 games against Iowa. 2 out. Now Ed Easley. Speaking of catchers.
You know, doesn't seem to be a lot of runs being scored against when these 2 teams happen to meet. They've had a lot of close ball games as of late. 1-run ball games.
Easley grounded as short his last time up. Memphis got a good outing yesterday from Angel Castro. 6 2/3 shutout innings, to your point. Got a no decision.
Yeah, where are you going to go if you're a pitcher in this Cardinal organization when you look at what they've got?
They just keep doing what
Waka was here. Yeah, Waka went up and has done a great job there. Just
Castro just 1 walk, struck out 8. Wada with another strong inning. After having to work out of a bases loaded jam in the 2nd, he breezes through the 3rd and will go to the 4th. Redbirds lead it 1-0. Minor league game of the week on the CBS Sports Network. One nothing Memphis leading Iowa here at AutoZone Park. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and Lauren Gardner, who is downstairs getting the full experience with some Redbird fans. Lauren.
You guys might be jealous. I know you mentioned these nachos, you know, the things that outsell hot dogs at AutoZone Park. We have pulled chicken nachos. I mean, they have not spared anything here. Look at this. We have all the cheese, the pulled chicken from Rendezvous, like we mentioned, an institution here in Memphis, and just the smell. They actually put the rub, I think, that they put on the ribs. It's amazing. And this is just one of many unique concessions that you can enjoy here at AutoZone Park. And for season ticket holders, I'm here with Chad and Bridget and their family. Guys, how has your experience been here with the Redbirds?
Oh, we love it. It's great family entertainment. We come out to most of the games. I mean, they're so good with our kids. You know, all the security, from the security people to, the general manager, they all know our children, and it's a great place to raise your child. I mean, it's just we have a ball.
Why take them to daycare when you can take them to the ballpark, right?
Absolutely.
Now, are you guys hardcore St. Louis Cardinals fans?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I drive her crazy. If I'm not over here watching ball here, I'm watching ball at the house. So by the time ball season's over, she's ready for ball season to be over.
So this Redbirds Cubs game right here, this whole series is a must for you guys, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. Go Birds.
All right, Landry, you look a little anxious. Do you want to have these nachos? Otherwise, I'm going to have to take them upstairs to the guys. Why don't you guys have some of these? Thank you so much. Go enjoy the game.
Thank you so much. Go Redbirds.
I'm going to eat some of those.
No, you better not. That is so wrong if you eat those, Lauren.
Get it while you can. Thanks, Lauren. And I can't wait till she has kids and drops them off at the ballpark instead of daycare. I think that's great. Oh, man.
The fans from everywhere, that's we've talked about it before. The folks that come and watch these young prospects coming up will be following them their whole careers.
Alcantara with an easy play to Xavier Scruggs, and Cooney keeps cruising, 2 down.
Okay, both pitchers right now in a really good rhythm, moving the ball around.
Now a tough out though, Javi Baez,
who just missed one last time up.
Towering fly ball to left field. But as Doug said, just a little bit under it. Youngest player in the PCL this year at 21 years old. Last week he hit safely in all 7 games, and 3 of those were multi-hit games. Taking all the way, interesting. Doug mentioned Baez really trying to work on defense, but just a tremendous talent. He moved to Florida from Puerto Rico, he and his family, in '05. His sister needed medical treatment. They were going back and forth from Puerto Rico to Florida, and it became cost prohibitive, so they just picked up and moved to Miami, where he grew up. Sister Noel being treated for spina bifida. Lost his father at an early age, but before that happened, he taught Javi and his brothers to love baseball, how to play the game, how to appreciate it. All 3 of them got tattoos of the Major League Baseball logo. They said it would symbolize baseball being in their lives forever.
Well, so far, after 63 years, I don't see anything wrong with that.
His brother Rolando, older brother, actually was drafted by the Padres in '02.
Boy, he comes out of his shoes when he swings.
Didn't get cheated, did he?
Not at all. 3-1 pitch. We'll see if he shortens up this time or if he's going to stay big. I mean, watch this. This is, wow. That's one of those Gary Sheffield type swings.
That's the same swing he used against Colorado Springs last week to launch his 2nd career grand slam. Another towering pop-up. Again, just getting under it. Cosmo runs it down. And another perfect inning for Cooney. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. We'll go to the 5th. Memphis 1, Iowa nothing on the minor league game of the week here on the CBS Sports Network. We are in the bottom of the 4th inning. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, and Lauren Gardner. And if you're in the ballpark here at AutoZone, you never lose sight of what's happening, and that's because, well, Lauren, tell us why.
Well, guys, it's the largest big screen in all of minor league baseball, 60 by 60, in fact. And I think our picture is up on the board right now. We're getting a little bit of love. How about that mug right there? This board debuted in 2012, and they actually flipped the switch, turned this thing on for the first time ever on opening day. And it was Friday the 13th, so they had a few glitches. They compared it to just like buying a flat screen television. So there are going to be a few things that aren't working properly at first. It all worked out, and lo and behold, this thing, it works pretty well. I like seeing your big faces up there.
That's pretty big.
You know the old saying about the rose between two thorns. That's definitely it right there.
That's a fact right there. Just another fan amenity here, and we see them all over the country. And again, this ballpark with a lot of personality, in a city with a ton of personality.
Did we have fun last night?
Absolutely. Hard to come to this town and not have fun. Now Pete Kozma singled to center his last time up, made it around to third, but was stranded. As Tsuyoshi Wada worked out of the jam. Doug mentioned earlier that these teams playing for the third time in 2 days and have not scored a lot of runs, period. And there's another high fly ball.
Hit pretty good.
Kalish can't get it. So a double for Kozma, third extra base hit given up by Wada. And again, he misses up and in. I'm sorry, down and away.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pitch. He just goes down and gets it, Dick. That's, you know, about thigh high. Looks like the Kalish thought he had a shot at it to begin with and realized that he didn't. The ball comes back off his back. If it doesn't, it may be going for a triple.
So now leadoff man aboard. Nobody out. Scoring position for Jermaine Curtis. Curtis with a fly ball to right his last time up.
All right, this time just trying to hit a ball the opposite way. Playing in these close ball games, every run's important.
Curtis, a UCLA product from Panorama City, California. Wada seems to be able to reach down when he needs it.
You know, he got that slow delivery, and then he changes speeds very good, but you're right. When he needs that good pop on his fastball, he's got that good runner that comes in on the hitter's hands, and that's what he does when he's in trouble.
They play Curtis to pull the center and left. There's a big hole in right center. Valleca well off the line at first base. Does the job. Nicely done by Wada.
But that's why a kid like Curtis is somebody to take a good look at. You're trying to get the ball over. He waited till he got a pitch. A nice play by Chris Valleca just to knock the ball down, and Wada doing what he's supposed to, gets over and covers it.
Well, you can see the shift basically that they had on is Valleca was in on the edge of the grass actually, and again well off the bag. It almost backfired, but as you mentioned, Valleca with an athletic play. Same for Wada.
Same for Wada.
Covering
exactly.
his position.
Yeah,
now,
bare-handed that ball, Dick, and he picked it up and got over
stride.
the
Yep. But now an opportunity for Tommy Pham, who hit a fly ball to center his last time up. If he can do that now, run gets home.
You know, Kozma was up when Ellis got healthy. Then Ellis went back up to the big leagues, and you know, you can see why they like Kozma. A couple of hits tonight, plays good defense, steady, can play a couple of positions.
Pham from Las Vegas. Drafted out of high school by the Cardinals, 16th round back in '06. Tough pitch by Wada. Low and in. Backdoor slider.
You're just not going to hit that pitch. That's just a good running pitch to the inside part of the plate that you're just not going to hit. Tried to come back with the slider down it. And that's what he's been doing. He's had pretty good control up to this point, being able to change speeds and move the ball around.
So Pham with a hitter's count. Infield in on the edge of the grass, trying to cut off the run here in the 4th inning. That'll get a run home. Another extra base hit for the Redbirds. They lead it 2-0.
That almost sounded like a broken bat. But the ball jumped off of it, and you could tell immediately he was going to make it to the wall. Goes to the 360 mark. He hits it pretty good. He knows right now he's got a chance for extra bases. Just had a funny sound off the bat.
And what fans did come out for the game are excited here.
There you go.
In Memphis, as is the hitter, Tommy Pham.
Excited about getting that RBI.
Free base for the Redbirds. Got away from Whiteside. And again, a runner at third and 1 out.
Well, Cooney up, who looked like a pretty good hitter last time, singled.
Scored a pass ball. So Pham now at third base, and as Doug mentioned, Cooney got his barrel on the ball last time up.
As you said, hey, what do you have, 6 base hits? Looking for his 7th base hit now. Boy, that's a pretty good swing right there. May not get another pitch that good.
Well,
your opinions, DH, like, don't like?
Don't like, but I've given up on it ever
complaining
going
about
away,
it.
Yeah. That one base hit jacked his average by more than 100 points. But Wada finds the outside corner. Interesting, though, that now pitcher versus pitcher, but he's got to be careful. Because not only is Cooney shown he can swing the bat, again, infield all the way in on the edge of the grass.
I'd say he may get some little breaking ball right here, or maybe a fastball on the outside part of the plate again. Comes with a breaking ball.
Everybody knows what happens when you pull the infield in.
Outfield playing relatively shallow as well. Got him playing the opposite way.
That's a big out for Wada.
They just beat him with a fastball.
But he kept it far enough away from Cooney where he could keep it off the barrel, and now 2 down. Infield retreats, outfield shifts back. Top of the order, Greg Garcia walked his last time up, also a strikeout. One run in, a man at third, 2 down now. Wada finds that same corner.
Boy, good job, Whiteside, framing that ball. Tell you, your catcher can really get you a lot of pitches that are close.
So you believe framing actually works?
Yes. I believe framing and consistency from your pitcher works.
Absolutely.
In harmony. A couple of guys going into the Hall of Fame this year were pretty good at getting pitches that were maybe a little bit outside. Greg Maddux being one, Tom Glavine the other. When they were on their game, if you sat 2 or 3 inches outside, they could put it right there.
Pulled the string a little bit on Garcia. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Adam Schwartz, the umpire behind the plate. Ramon DeJesus at first, Stu Sherwater at third base.
Got a chance to talk to the guys before the game. We probably don't give umpires enough credit for the great job that they do.
I hope you were a little more civil to them than you were when you were a player.
Well, I only got thrown out of 1 game.
Great pitch by Wada. And he leaves a man at third, but the Redbirds put up another run. And that's why the double off the wall by Tommy Pham. 2-0 Redbirds. Back with more in a minute. Be sure you join us next Thursday, June the 5th. We'll head to Washington State, where the Albuquerque Isotopes travel to Tacoma to take on the Rainiers. Minor League Baseball game of the week, 10 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, Lauren Gardner. We've already seen the Topes. They pulled out a win in front of our cameras in Fresno a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did they swing the bats too?
Oh, absolutely.
Balls were flying out of that ballpark. Peterson hit a couple of home runs. Young Alex Guerrero hit a couple of home runs. Yeah, Jock Peterson put on a display. We'd heard just how good he was, but knocked in 3 runs that game. 14-8. I think they scored 14 runs that game.
AAA team of the LA Dodgers. So we'll have that one for you next week from the Pacific Northwest. Beautiful part of the country. Chris Valleca standing in, a guy you know fairly well.
I do know Chris.
And he sends one to
just missed that
left center, got under it. Grichuk hauls it in.
Chris, one of those kids that has had a lot of time in the minor leagues and has put up some very good numbers, but just they're trying to find a place for him to play. He's played the infield, playing first base here with Iowa. Always been able to swing the bat. Just finding a place for him to play has been an issue.
Ryan Kalish just came down from the big team. Born in Northridge, California, lives now in New Jersey. 9th round pick of the Red Sox back in '06. Red Sox minor league player of the year in '09, but well, a real bad run of luck in 2012. Missed the entire season with surgery on his left shoulder. Came back rehabbing, then he hurt his right shoulder, had to have surgery in 2013. Missed that year. Signed a minor league deal with the Cubs prior to this season. And he actually made the Cubs opening day roster. But then was optioned back to Iowa when.
That's a concern for today's game, making sure that after the night that these players have, then coming back over this afternoon, and some of them got a chance to go home and take a nap and relax. One of the things that was a concern was that they'd be able to get good and loose and make sure that they get good and loose before they started playing this ball game.
Ryan Kalish represents the first base runner of the night for the Iowa Cubs to reach against Mr. Cooney. Cooney, a 3rd round pick in 2012 out of Wake Forest. And now Christian Villanueva. Fly ball to left field his last time up. Good off-speed pitch. Cooney left Wake Forest, ranked 8th in school history with 278 innings pitched and 235 strikeouts.
College programs are so solid now that these guys can go and not miss a beat when they come into pro ball.
High heat.
You know, neither one of these pitchers overpowering, both of them around 88 miles an hour. But when you move the ball around the plate and have some kind of off-speed pitch, it makes that fastball look even faster.
Not exactly what Cooney had in mind, and Kalish takes second on the wild pitch.
In the words of the great broadcaster for the Milwaukee Brewers, just a bit high.
Yep.
One of the funniest people I've ever been around, the great Bob Uecker.
Never had the pleasure, but everybody I know who has met him has said the same thing.
He's just nonstop. That's him.
And genuine.
Yes.
Man in scoring position for the first time tonight for Iowa. Off speed. Villanueva down on strikes. 2nd strikeout of the night for Cooney.
Boy, he came back with just a big curveball. We heard he had fastball, curveball, and slider and change. So I guess he's got 4 pitches.
Tonight, command of all 4. Now Casper Wells, retired leading off the 3rd inning. Taken by the Tigers in '05. 14th round. Made their opening day roster. In 2011, later that season, traded to the Mariners in a 5-player deal. In 2013, he began the season with the Mariners. Before the year was over, he had played with Oakland, the White Sox, and the Phillies. Signed a minor league deal with the Cubs prior to this year. It's another one of those guys, Doug, just looking for the right place.
That may have come off the catcher a little bit. Umpire going to give him a little chance to shake it off. It's a good job by the umpire right here. You see this foul ball come back. Ow. It looked like it got all skin.
Now his teammates in the infield doing the exact same thing, coming in to have a word with Cooney just to give Easley a chance to shake things off. Nice move.
Yep. It's just smart. And, you know, one of the things that Cardinal baseball has always been was fundamentally sound all the way up through the system.
It's one of those unwritten rules, though, isn't it?
It should be. You got some guys that if they didn't get any hits, they might be out there worried about their at-bat, so they didn't even see the foul ball. But fundamentals, to me, are still as important today as they have always been. And the Cardinals have always had someone through their system that have been able to teach them the very best way to play the game.
So Cooney working ahead in the count again. Done that most of the night against the Cubs, but a man in scoring position with 2 down. Well, 6'2", 220, big target.
We talked a little about Pop Warner of Memphis, coaches Mark Bodaska, Brian Eversgard, Greg Byron, one of their other coaches.
At that inside corner, second straight strikeout. Cubs put a man in scoring position, but that's where he remains. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Memphis with a 2-0 lead. Minor league game of the week on CBS Sports Network. Back in Memphis where the home team leads it 2-0. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn. Let's go back down to Lauren. She tempted us with nachos last time. Lauren, what's going on?
I tempted you with nachos, and now I'm going to bring a little bit of Redbirds history to all of you and the viewers. This red seat right here is the landing spot of a history-making home run. In 2000 in the PCL championship game, it was game 4. Young 20-year-old man by the name of Albert Pujols stepped up to the plate in the bottom of the 13th. Of 2 outs, it was a 2-2 count, and he hit the game-winning home run that landed right here. It won the PCL championship game, and I think a lot of fans here thought that he would be around for a while. They probably started buying merchandise, but you know what? That following spring training, it went pretty well for him. He ended up making the MLB team, the Cardinals, and boys, the rest is history. And you know what? I did ask the fans. Nobody sits here. I don't know if it's bad luck or what's going on, but I don't know if I should even be touching it, really.
Wow. That is a great, as she said, slice of history and an important piece of history of this ball club. And she's right. Steve Selby, the fine play-by-play man for the Redbirds, said, yeah, you know, we didn't know much about him, but we thought we'd really get to know him next year. And personnel moves were made and things worked out. And Pujols never came back to Memphis. It worked out well for the Cardinals. He's struggling in Anaheim now, but really important part of baseball history when it comes to St. Louis and Memphis. Grichuk high, but it'll stay in the ballpark. Running grab by Kalish. 1 out.
Didn't we hear that he was even announced as Alberto Pujols?
Yes. Steve's been here since 2000 and working right next door to him with the fine Cubs broadcasters. Dean Ellis, his 25th year calling Iowa's action, and Randy Wayhofer. Scotty looking for his first way on tonight. That'll find the seats. Steve told me a story about his first job. You always think back to your first season in the minors. His first job in Kinston in the Carolina League. he signed on to be the sort of a jack of all trades radio guy, get the ballpark ready on game day, things like that, plus the bus driver. He had to drive the team bus in on the hands, and that'll find Matt Cesar. 2 out.
Did he get extra pay for that?
Well, he was supposed to, and at the end of the month, he looked up and it wasn't there, but he didn't have it in writing, so lesson learned. But what he told me was the old bus, and it took him, he only got a half an hour of practice before he went and took his bus driver's test, which he passed. But Steve tells me that it was such a terrible engine that every 2 hours on the road, he had to stop and put more oil in it.
Wow.
So he had to help load bats, balls, gloves, uniforms, and oil every time they went on the road.
That's why you got to love the minor leagues.
Yeah. He said, hey, it was my first job. I would have done anything, and he did.
Well, are you ready for this? My first year in Class A ball in the Florida State League, we didn't even have a bus.
Oh, no?
No. We went in station wagons.
Oh, my gosh.
We loaded up as many guys as we could, and the oldest players on the team were the drivers. So you had Russ Nixon was our manager, and then we had 2 other guys that were older. I don't know how we did it, but looking back on it, you don't ever remember it being bad. You're just thinking, hey, this is just the way it is.
Get paid to play baseball.
Now, that little trip from Tampa down to Key West in those station wagons wasn't any fun.
I would say. Well, you know, if the league were any worse, you would have been hitchhiking.
Good point. Great league to play in. It was great travel, great ballpark since my first year, so no complaints.
Xavier Scruggs doubled back in the first inning. Steve also worked games in Nashville prior to coming to Memphis, another great minor league baseball town.
Were you surprised a little when he was telling you the population of the city of Memphis?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a little bigger myself. Boy, that inside part of the plate has been a place for pitchers to live tonight.
7 strikeouts now for Wada. The Redbirds down in order. They still lead it 2-0. Minor league game of the week here on CBS Sports Network. Back in Memphis, where Rocky is making some fans pretty happy with the free T-shirts. 2-0, the home team leads it, which makes Craig Unger very happy. He is the Redbirds general manager joining us now. And first of all, thanks for having us. And secondly, what a great ballpark.
Well, first of all, thanks for you guys coming here. This is a beautiful ballpark. I mean, it is spectacular. And, you know, it's regularly voted one of the top minor league ballparks in the nation. And we're going to actually do some improvements, and we can talk a little bit more about that, some things that we want to do over the next year to really make it even better and keep it right at the top of that list.
Well, I think it's beautiful. We had talked about the trees as the hitting eye back in the back, which is unusual. You don't see a lot of that anymore.
Right.
But the whole city is just kind of, and since you put this ballpark downtown, we had a chance to talk with Kevin Kane of what it has done just to sort of revitalize the city as well.
You know, it has. You know, I've only been down here about 6 months or so, but everybody you talk to says this area, and I even talked to a season ticket holder tonight who said this area 15 years ago was nothing. And
wow.
You look across the street, they tore down an old bus station that was over there, and there's a hotel going in. You know, there's other hotels that have made appearances. You walk up to Main Street, and there's a whole bunch of great local restaurants. It's not even the chains, it's the local places that are jumping in.
Yeah.
And you see, you know, there's a building down the left field line that's being renovated for apartments and being renovated for condos. So it's all this redevelopment going on around this area that's in a lot of ways tied to this ballpark and the fans that it's bringing in.
Eli Whiteside put a charge into that one out. Let me ask you a little bit about baseball now. You've got your St. Louis Cardinals NL Championship ring on. You've got ball players on this ball club that are going to be, you just know they're going to be future Cardinals. That's got to be really exciting for you.
You know, right now this is a really good team. You know, when you look at that outfield, and you know, right now tonight Tavares is on the bench.
Right.
But you know, even the guys that are out there, when you look at Grichuk, Piscotty, these guys are gonna be stars. So right now, this is a great opportunity for fans of baseball, and really what we're the fans of the Cardinals, and that's why Memphis is such a great market. This is Cardinal territory. We're right in the middle of it. And those fans that even live in southern Missouri and through Arkansas, they're making the trip down here to see these guys. This is a great place to see them and see them now before they get up to Busch Stadium.
Well, on the last World Series team, I mean, 20 of the 25 roster guys came through here. Is that correct?
Yep, 20 of about 20. There's actually a couple more when you start counting coaches and trainers and those guys who are here as well. But that's, you know, that's what we say is this is the future of Cardinal baseball, and the next World Series goes through Memphis.
You know, to the naked eye, this ballpark looks like it's just fantastic. But I have heard that as soon as the season's over, you're going to start, maybe not from scratch, but you're going to make some big changes.
We're going to make some pretty big changes. You know, one thing is we want to put video walls into the outfield.
Wow.
You know, kind of just that scoreboard. Enough. Everybody's had a chance to see it yet, you know, on TV, but it's a fabulous scoreboard. You know, even in St. Louis, it's better than what we have in Busch.
I agree.
You know, and you see that now we start to put some LED boards maybe along the ribbons here and along the outfield walls. You're just going to be able to provide that 360, that multimedia experience that people sort of expect now when they go to sporting events. You know, and then we've got some other, we want to enhance some club areas, add some all-inclusive things in here, you know, kind of do some seating reconfigurations, and then also we're going to put in a brand new field as well.
Well, from what we've heard, don't change the menu because...
Don't change the concessions.
Yeah, the concessions we hear are a hit.
The food here is really good.
We know.
And the nice part is people come down and they want to go to Rendezvous, and we love Rendezvous. But we serve Rendezvous here in the ballpark. Yep. So just get it all in one stop. Come down to the game. You can have your nachos. You can have your pulled pork. And then we do the barbecue nachos here. You know, you love the food's great.
You know, people don't realize, I mean, I played in the minor leagues 3 years. And, of course, Dick and I have been around it a lot. When you're the general manager, you wear a lot of different hats. I've seen general managers pulling the tarp. I've seen them cleaning out the dugout. I mean, people don't realize what your day consists of.
It is, you know, it's everything but baseball in a lot of ways. You know, because you're not in charge of the players. Most people think, oh, so you're signing the guys, you're sending them up to St. Louis. I'm like, no, I have no idea. I find out when everybody else finds out that so-and-so left, you know. But we had a storm the other night and was out there pulling tarp.
Wow.
Matt Cesar with a running grab. Stay put. Kevin Unger, general manager. We're going to find out more about the Memphis Redbirds. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. Memphis still leading at 2-0 over Iowa here. Minor league game of the week on the CBS Sports Network. Back in AutoZone Park in downtown Memphis, where the homestanding Redbirds are leading the Iowa Cubs 2-0. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn joining us in the booth again is Craig Unger, the general manager of the Redbirds. And we were talking about the future of your ballpark and how you're looking to make improvements. And I think people may not understand as well that for the longest time, at least for a while anyway, I think since 1998, the Redbirds were a nonprofit. Not the case anymore. So now the big league club owns the ball club, the city owns the ballpark. That kind of took some shackles off you a little bit, didn't it?
It did. You know, these guys here sort of had their hands tied a little bit with some things, and it's pretty well documented that, you know, they had some financial, you know, issues kind of going in. The Cardinals came in, and we just really see it. This is a great opportunity for the Cardinals to come down here. You know, as I said before, this is Cardinal country. And you drive around, and I was down here during the World Series, down here during the playoffs last year in October, and everywhere you walked around, people had their Cardinal gear on. They're sitting out places, and they're watching the games, and they're looking over your shoulder and asking you questions. And, you know, this was a great opportunity for us because that I-55 corridor that these players go back and forth is also the corridor that the fans are going back and forth.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part of this deal for us, is to be able to draw those St. Louis fans down that want to see the future of Cardinal baseball, but then also sort of that cross-marketing of enhancing and really solidifying that relationship with the Cardinals in Memphis.
Well, I've said all along that one thing the Cardinals still do, and they have never gotten away from, is developing their own talent and not counting on going to free agency. Now, they have made some moves, obviously, but they continue to have guys that are homegrown that they'll come up through the system and make it to the big leagues so people can follow them their whole career.
Another towering fly ball. Easily sends it into left center field. Matt Cesar makes the grab. And to Doug's point, Craig, that's huge, obviously, for your ball club, because that means you will likely have a quality product to put on the field.
Yes.
And, you know, it's only going to help your game.
Yeah, that pipeline, you know, even you look at our AA team, you know, there are some really good players coming up, and there's probably some guys that may belong here already, but because of the log jam that's here with, you know, some of the outfielders and some of the other positions, they have no place to go. You know, so it's a great problem to have, and it's a great problem, you know, for Mo to have in St. Louis, is that you've got these guys and they're ready to go, and some of them are major league ready now.
I don't think Cosmo likes coming down. He's telling Ellis he might have to keep playing a little bit better. That's his third knock of the night.
Second double. And the Redbirds with another runner in scoring position with one out. Third 3-hit game of the season for Cosmo. And again, another guy who's just a victim of the logjam of talent.
Yeah, it goes on and on here, and but it's exciting for these fans to be able to come out and see these guys. And you've got guys, you know, who have played in the majors or who have, you know, gone up and down. Some of these guys are going to be on the roster, you know, next couple of weeks, or, you know, definitely in September.
Oh yeah.
Tsuyoshi Wada, who pitched so well against the Redbirds last time out, has struggled at times tonight, has worked out of a couple of jams. And even this rivalry, Iowa-Memphis, is fun, just like the Chicago-St. Louis rivalry.
People know it's still the Cubs, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're like, and the Cardinal fans know it. You know, you see a lot of Cardinal gear out here in the stands tonight, and they know, and it's like, we want to beat them at this level, so they get used to getting beat at the major league level, right? You know?
Start them winning right now. I agree.
We know it's interesting you say that, though, because some organizations do not put a premium on winning in the minors. They put a premium, of course, all of them do, on player development, but some treat winning as just maybe a happy byproduct, whereas some organizations want their players to learn to be winners, per se. And I think both of these organizations are.
Yeah, you know, I think our guys, they love to win. And, you know, today we played the last 3 outs of a suspended game from last night. And, you know, just to come in, and those guys were fired up to come here today to play those 3 outs, even though the previous game had just ended a couple hours before and was suspended, to be able to come in here and get the win. And they were buckled down, ready to go, and we're going to get the win. We're going to get through this and get this win.
At what time did you get out of here last night?
About 1:30.
And back here today
I was back here by 8:30.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a late tarp pull this morning because of the rain. So there was still rain in the area this morning, which gave everybody a couple more minutes to sleep.
It's a loud crowd. They're having fun, but obviously not the crowd you'd hope for tonight. But as you said, it's been raining for 4 solid days here in Memphis. So, you know, and it was supposed to be raining right now.
Yep. Yeah. We had a doubleheader last night, which was actually the result of rain in April when these two teams faced each other. That got moved. We have a doubleheader tomorrow because of a game that got rained out just a couple days ago. So these guys, they're getting their fill of baseball. We're getting a lot of games in a couple of days. And, yeah, we had a threat of rain all day today and some rain throughout the afternoon, but it's a beautiful night tonight.
Are there any rules as to how many consecutive days that they play and then have to have a day off? Or I'm sure there's not for games, but maybe days?
It's a great league question. I don't know the answer to that. You know,
I think the big leagues, it's like 19 consecutive days, and you must have a day off. And, but I was wondering, because you're going back to back to back. And, of course, when you're this age, though, and especially if you're swinging the bat pretty good, you love playing baseball.
Yeah, the one interesting thing is on double headers. Like, so tomorrow we have a true double header, but they play 2 7-inning games.
Right.
So that's, you know, something a little bit different than, you know, when you have a double header in the major leagues, which you don't have a whole lot of those anymore, but it's 2 7-inning games. That's what we had last night, which was kind of fun. We blew through a game in about an hour and 35 minutes.
Wow.
That really doesn't
fun.
happen anymore.
Right.
Tommy Pham with an opportunity now. 1 out, runners at first and second. A double his last time up. Wada once again in trouble. You saw the meeting at the mound, but bullpen is quiet for the time being. Wada with those 7 strikeouts, but also has given up 7 base hits.
Most of the strikeouts, too, have come looking, and when pitchers have gotten ahead, they've been painting that inside corner.
Do you get a chance, though, on a night like tonight to just take a breath and watch some baseball?
You don't see a whole lot, but, you know, you're spending a lot of time walking around, you know, talking to season ticket holders, you know, meeting sponsors and stuff. But every now and then you get a chance to kind of sit back and watch, you know, some of the games and see some of the guys, because as a baseball fan myself, it's fun to see these prospects and to know that, you know, these guys are going to be some of the next major league stars. So it's fun to just sit and watch them now in this intimate setting, which is minor league baseball. And that's the beautiful part, is you come to these parks and you sit so close and you're right there on top of the action.
Did you grow up a Cardinal fan?
I did. I grew up just outside of St. Louis, about 30 minutes south, over on the Illinois side of the river, and was a huge Cardinal fan. You know, spent a lot of my childhood, you know, at the games, and you know, growing up during the Whitey Ball era, and you know, seeing World Series championships during that time and World Series appearances. It was, I'm a Cardinal fan through and through.
It's intoxicating. He's grown up in any town where you're having success, and of course Doug was part of those big red machine teams in Cincinnati, and boy, the whole tri-state or 5-state area around Cincinnati, including West Virginia, was eat up with the Reds back then. So you see how that happens.
But
I got to think.
Well, you know what's amazing about that too is you all being Cardinal fans, that has now become the rivalry of the Cincinnati
absolutely.
Reds.
Oh yeah. Same division.
Same division. When they changed, it used to be the Dodgers when they only had the East and the West, and then when they changed that, now that has become a very nice rivalry, which is good to see.
Kind of nasty too.
Well, it got a little ugly there a couple of times, but
into the gap it goes. That'll score 2. And a triple, or rather a double, I should say. Again for Tommy Pham. I was thinking it might go triple, but Matt Cesar did a great job of chasing that ball down with a sliding grab, but making a 4-0 Memphis lead. We've talked so much about the outfield prospects. Well, Tommy Pham gets a chance to hit some at-bats, and look what he's doing.
He's having a big night. Boy, takes that ball and drives it to the other side. And, you know, you're right, this is a good ball club. When you start looking at the kids that they have on this team, and we may start getting some action now out in the Cub bullpen. But it's great to watch a lot of these kids that have been up and down, and then once they get their opportunity, AAA used to be a place for just a few of your prospects, but then you'd have a lot of guys that were heading down from the big leagues, and they'd send a lot of your good players to AA. I'm glad to see back at AAA ball because you're just a step away. You play well, you got a chance to be called up to the big leagues at any time.
Yeah, it's and again, that's the exciting part is when you're seeing these guys down here, you don't know day in and day out. The next day they're going to be gone. You know, and it's hard from a marketing standpoint. It's hard to market the stars because your stars are going to be gone.
Good point.
They're going to be here for just a short while, and then they're going to be moving on. And that's, you know, part of that is that you just want to, you know, especially here, we want to provide a great family experience, make it fun, make it affordable, and as you said, the fans are having a great time tonight out here.
Alberto Carrera loosening, the right-hander for Chicago now, with the pitcher Tim Cooney at the plate. We talk about you growing up a Cardinals fan. I got to think since you've been here, you become a fan of the city of Memphis.
The city is great. The city is absolutely wonderful. It is very friendly, and this downtown area that we talked about is great. And even, you know, just you go out and you travel around, and people are so friendly, so helpful. You know, as someone trying to come in and, you know, moving down here and moving the family down here, this city is it's a great place.
Now, my partner did Graceland for the first time yesterday.
Okay.
You made it there yet?
I have not. I'm actually waiting.
You're a busy guy.
I'm actually waiting for the kids to come down.
Oh, okay.
The kids just to try. I love the bobblehead.
How about the bobblehead? Is that
That is
awesome?
great. You know, it's. I'm waiting for the kids to come down, do some of these things as a family, but you know, the kids have already gone to the zoo. They have a great zoo here.
Yep.
You know, they get to see a panda bear. My kids have always wanted to see a panda bear. You know, they've got a chance to do that. They have, you know, a great children's museum. There's a whole bunch of things here that are, you know, they have great parks, you know, great bike trail, you know, for the people who live here that you can, you know, they're actually expanding that, is my understanding, over to Arkansas, where you can start here and right across the river. It's a great place.
Tim Cooney does his job, moves the runner. Greg Garcia now with a man at third, 2 out.
I am as excited. I told Dick, when we checked into the hotel, they couldn't have been any nicer. We walk over here to the ballpark. They couldn't have been any nicer. The stats were right for us. They had everything. Do you need anything? Can I help you? So congratulations.
Thank you.
You should be very proud of your staff, and especially you and all that you've done to make us feel at home here.
We are. We're very proud of them, and you know, part of the thing is, you know, you guys have talked about it. There's sort of that Cardinal way on the field.
Yeah.
There's the Cardinal way of doing things off the field as well. And that's what we also want to, you know, we want to show that is that experience that people have in St. Louis. We want that same experience when they come here.
Good point.
You know, that great atmosphere, that, you know, it's a friendly atmosphere. It's the great baseball fan atmosphere.
Well, they do have some great fans. Probably my favorite place to play for a couple of reasons. One is that my family could drive there from Lexington and stay. And you knew when you went to the ballpark, you had knowledgeable fans that appreciated if you made a good play, they would clap for you. It wasn't that nasty stuff that you see in a lot of the other ballparks. And I became good friends with Jack Buck and Mike Shannon, so how could it be better than that?
Garcia down, no balls, 2 strikes with a runner at third. It goes off speed, but
yeah, when I came up, they had a few guys like for the Cardinals in AAA. We all played in the American Association then, and they had Keith Hernandez and Bobby Force and Jerry Mumphrey and Gary Templeton, a few guys that were decent.
He could play a little bit. Wada trying to work out of another mess. 2 runs in with 2 out. And he gets Garcia, but 2 more runs for the home team. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On a good night at the ballpark. Thank you so much, Craig.
Thanks for everything.
Craig Unger, general manager of the Memphis Redbirds. We'll take a break. Back with more of the minor league baseball game of the week. The CBS Sports Network. Redbirds now lead at 4-0 over the Iowa Cubs here in Memphis. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn. Let's go back downstairs to Lauren Gardner. Lauren.
Well, boys, these fans love their Redbirds. But when it comes to passion, well, the Chihuahua fans, yeah, right here, they've spoke. So they won the first ever Clash of the Caps. It was on MILB.com. It received over 2 million votes. And yes, El Paso, the Chihuahua fans, they voted their team to have the best mascot. And they won by a narrow margin. They almost beat, very, it was a narrow margin, but they almost beat out the Richmond Flying Squirrels and a team that we're going to see next week, the Albuquerque Isotopes. But how about this Chihuahua? He doesn't seem very nice.
We like the Chihuahuas. We talked about them last week and the ISO, but the Richmond Flying Squirrels, you got to love that. A list of the top 10 finishers, including the classic favorites like the number 5 Durham Bulls. We saw them last week in Columbus. And I'll tell you what, the newly branded team up in Akron called the Rubber Ducks came in the number 10 spot. So that's great stuff. And Lauren with the Chihuahua cap.
I love the names that these minor league teams have.
And I like the fact that they get the fans involved with the voting. You know, we talked about the Isotopes when we saw them a couple of weeks ago, and the fans overwhelmingly chose that name. Cubs still looking for their first run of the game. Arsmendi Alcantara, a couple of ground balls. Clooney has just been really tough on these Cubs hitters.
His location tonight has been outstanding. There he turns one over, a little changeup. And we've seen every one of his pitchers, and he's had command. And as we said earlier in the game, voted to have the best command of any pitcher in their system. So you knew he was going to be around the plate.
Alcantara, a good young talent, signed shortly after his 17th birthday. And that baseball came into the press and a catch, oh my goodness, by the PA man. That's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic catch.
Is he going to throw it back? No, he's going to hang on to it. I keep forgetting to bring my glove because we've got a lot of open air settings. And I feel a lot better having that mitt on.
Alcantara out of the Dominican Republic. Got off to kind of a slow start in terms of power. Only 15 homers in his first 4 pro seasons in the infield. And he hit 15 the year after that. But that's out number 2. I'm sorry, out number 1. Getting ahead of myself.
You see that time he jammed him. Looked like got a fastball in on him that time. Jammed him, popped him up. He just keeps moving the ball around, Dick, up and down, and it lets you know you don't have to throw 95 or 96 to be effective. Just be left-handed, move the ball around, and he's topped out at 88 miles an hour tonight. But boy, he has certainly pitched a heck of a game.
Changing speeds, changing location, keeping the hitters off balance. And again, this is a tough out. Javi Baez, reigning league player of the week, 0 for 2, a fly ball, a pop fly.
I mean, he's got one gear we've seen so far at the plate, and that's just come out of his shoes swinging.
Yep.
He'll learn to cut that down, Dick, because right now, as we see, he's struggling a little bit with an average.
Easy hop for Jermaine Curtis. Good speed by Baez, but Curtis guns him down. 2 out.
But he does. He reminds you a lot of Gary Sheffield, the way he takes that bat, bends it towards the pitcher, which shows you that he's got a lot of strength in his forearms, but a pretty big swing right now for a young kid. He'll learn to control that.
Only the 4th ground ball out by the Cubs tonight. Lots of fly balls and pop flies. Now Chris Valleca. He popped out back in the 2nd inning with a fly ball to center in the 5th.
We mentioned the coaches there from Memphis. Marty Peavy, the manager over for Iowa, along with Bruce Walton, pitching coach. Ryan Harper, hitting coach.
Again in the air to center, but right at Randall Grichuk. And another 1-2-3 inning for Cooney. They're having fun with baseball night on the berm here in Memphis. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, Lauren Gardner, new pitcher now for the Iowa Cubs, who trail at 4-0 here at AutoZone Park. There he is, 6'4", 210, 25-year-old Alberto Cabrera from the Dominican Republic. Spent last season moving between Iowa and the big club. Also spent some time at AA Tennessee, and you see his numbers as he makes a bid to get back to the big leagues. He'll try to cool off these Memphis Redbirds and hold them down. They lead at 4-0.
Have you announced any pitchers in the last 5 weeks that have been under, or have been, under 6'4" or under 6'3"?
It seems like they've all been pretty good size. Cooney's 6'3". Let's take a look now at the MILB.com news from around the league for this past week. And I think my favorite story had to be the dad catching his son's homer in the Quad Cities. Conrad Gregor with his first home run of the season Saturday. His dad, Marty, on the right field fence, caught the ball, got national attention.
You know what? And I think that is outstanding, but how come his son couldn't get him better seats?
Maybe he didn't want him. He knew the ball was going up to right field. He knows exactly where his son hits the ball. Randall Grichuk stands in, a home run back in the 1st inning. Get back to those headlines in just a minute. Lots of cool stuff going on. Villanueva cutting in front of Baez. 1 out. Ghostbusters night coming to Toledo. Featured in Ben Hill's promo preview. Friday night, Toledo's celebration of the 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters hardly seems possible. The Mud Hens have unveiled the jerseys they're going to wear. They will be the first uniforms in pro sports history to feature Proton Pack straps. Of course, Bill Murray, co-owner of the Charleston River Dogs, made a video to encourage fans to come out. And I saw the video. He did it as Harry Carey.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
did his best Harry Carey impression. It was pretty good.
Should have called his buddy Will Ferrell. He does
exactly
one of the
right.
best I've ever seen.
Stephen Piscotty had a frustrating night against Tsuyoshi Wada. Went 0 for 3. But his teammates have picked him up. 4 runs, 8 hits. Wada did strike out 7. But of those 8 hits, 6 were for extra bases. A homer and 5 doubles. And Cabrera gets Piscotty to go down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. Delino DeShields, the son of the longtime major leaguer, Delino Sr., he was hit in the face by Frisco's Phil Klein back on April 18th. Suffered a non-displaced sinus fracture and put up a photo that made him a temporary internet sensation. Kind of gruesome, actually, but he wanted to make sure people knew he was okay.
Yeah, that was nasty.
He's an Astros prospect, came back on May the 9th and has stolen since then 12 bases, so he's okay.
And we'll see him playing in a couple of weeks.
See him in a couple of weeks. I'm sure he's tired of talking about it, but that was a pretty nasty photo. And again, just like the Ghostbusters preview from Bill Murray, it's online. Just Google it.
Tough kid, just like his daddy.
Yep.
His daddy was the one who replaced me in Montreal as the second baseman. How about that? But we're friends.
It wasn't his fault. And of course, a home run happy day. Sunday, May 25th, New York Yankees prospect Mike Ford, 4 home runs, drove in 5. Charleston River Dogs with a 17-10 win over the Hickory Crawdads. So home run happy times 4. Set career highs in hits, RBIs, runs scored in a single game. And how about this? He had gone 16 games without a home run as Xavier Scruggs draws the walk.
That's pretty remarkable at any level. And hadn't that been done twice, I think, this year in the minor leagues?
I'm not sure about that, but I know that Pat Garman and Tony Mangialuso were the only players to go yard 4 times in one game in Sally League history.
Wow.
Garman did it for the Gastonia Rangers in '88 at Myrtle Beach. Mangialuso in '02 for the Savannah Sand Gnats at Asheville.
That's a pretty good pitchers league, too.
So now Ed Easley stands in. MILB.com, your home to all the latest news, stats, schedules from around the minors. Check it out today, MILB.com. Stay up to date on all the action. So Cabrera with a man on and a huge jump by Scruggs.
Well, you're absolutely right. First move to home plate by Cabrera, and he was gone.
Scruggs had jumped off as though to steal on the previous pitch, and Cabrera never adjusted.
Well, as soon as he moves, and he's kind of slow going to the plate, too, and he knows he's got this bag easy.
You see Eli Whiteside out for a quick word. So now another runner in scoring position for the Redbirds, thanks to that man Xavier Scruggs with his first steal of the season. Ed Easley looking for his first base hit. Ground ball, fly ball, strikeout. Bottom of the order really getting it done for Memphis. Pete Cosma on deck with 3 hits, 2 doubles. I mentioned the bottom of the order offensively. That includes the pitcher. Scruggs stays put. Whiteside did a good job of keeping the ball in front of him.
Well, Cabrera very deliberate out on the mound. As you said, a big kid.
6'4", 210. Kind of unwinds toward the plate. Redbirds have to make the adjustment, lefty to righty. And
he loves that slider, too.
A much different delivery now compared to Tsuyoshi Wada.
Yeah, you got a righty that's coming in that's throwing a lot of sliders that are pretty nasty when he has good control of it. And he loves it, too. He's throwing it about every pitch.
And as you might expect, Easley wants time.
I doubt that you will be seeing Scruggs even considering still in third base because he knows on a base hit the outfielder's playing pretty deep. He's going to score pretty easily.
Easily goes the other way with it, but Casper Wells draws the bead and squeezes, and the Redbirds strand a man. We'll go to the 8th. Memphis with a 4-0 lead over Iowa. Back with more of the minor league game of the week here on the CBS Sports Network. There you see the game summary. Cubs looking for base runners. They've had one man on, and that was by virtue of a walk. And they mentioned all the extra base hits by Memphis, taking the 4-0 lead. Cooney sailing along right now. Tsuyoshi Wada knocked around. He did have 8 strikeouts. But when the Redbirds connected, they connected hard.
Yeah, they took advantage of getting guys on base and then big hits. But right now, we've just seen a dominant performance going on by Mr. Tim Cooney.
Also has a base hit to his credit tonight.
He's probably as happy about that as anything else.
Ryan Kalish is the only man who's reached base for the Cubs. He sends it into the gap, and on the move is Grichuk. And there's one out. Kalish had walked his last time up.
Ball just hung in the air long enough for Grichuk to get a good jump on it, make the play very easily, and probably Pham could have made the play as well. But center fielder took charge, did what he's supposed to do.
Christian Villanueva, 0 for 2 tonight, struck out his last time up. Baseball America calls him the Cubs' 13th best prospect. Had a 2-home run game last week at Round Rock. 3rd time in his career he's connected twice in one game. Southern League All-Star last year down at AA Tennessee, the Smokies. It's a good traditional minor league name.
You know, Tennessee has always been a very good minor league state.
And he just off the outside edge. Villanueva last year led the Sally League in doubles and total bases. Also extra base hits. Signed originally by the Rangers as a non-drafted free agent. Cubs picked him up via a trade in 2012. Cosma, 2 out.
Boy, Cosmo having a big night tonight. Solid. Now you can see why they brought him up before Ellis got well, went on the DL, came here. I think he only played one game here, AAA, did his rehab, and then back in the big leagues now is going to give them a little more offense and, of course, steady defense at second base.
Casper Wells, 0 for 2, caught looking his last time up. Free agent signee by the Cubs prior to this year. Rehabbed a lower back strain during extended spring training. Joined the ball club May 19th. Played a total of 277 big league games. Cooney jams it inside on him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Oh.
Sends the bullpen or rather the dugout scrambling.
Another ugly finder.
Well, why haven't we gotten one of those yet?
No, well, it's early. Well, it's really not early, but we got a shot.
They're still early in the season. Cooney once again ahead in the count. Blows it by him. 3 up, 3 down. Nothing across.
Fastest pitch of the night.
Yep. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Memphis with a 4-0 lead on its arch rival Iowa here at AutoZone Park. Back with more of the minor league baseball game of the week. CBS Sports Network. Memphis leads it 4-0 here. Bottom of the 8th inning. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn. Let's go back down to Lauren.
Well, gentlemen, as you can see over there in left center field, the number 10 is on the wall at the Redbirds bullpen, the only number that has been retired from Memphis. And a man by the name of Stubby Clapp, he was a Canadian second baseman. He didn't have a lot of time up with the big team, but he did make his mark. Every time he would come out on the field, he would do a backflip, if that reminds you of anybody. Ozzie Smith come to mind there. So he is the only number retired here. I think it's pretty fantastic. I would love to have seen that backflip.
Talking, thank you, Lauren, with some of the Memphis fans yesterday. They all talk about Stubby. If they never saw any images of him, they at least know what Lauren was talking about. They say, you know, Ozzie did. He wasn't the first guy. Stubby was the first guy, so he gets his number up on the wall.
Wonder what the reason why Ozzie started it. I've heard the story before, but I don't remember it. Do you have any idea? You're the Cardinal fan.
I've heard him talk about it. Now I can't recall. And he used to do it a lot more. I think he ended up doing it just once a year. I know the Cardinals didn't want him to do it.
Opening day, I think.
Yeah. Cardinals didn't want him to do it. They were afraid he was going to hurt himself. So now Pete Kozma. First round pick in 07. Out of Owasso High School in Oklahoma.
Boy, having a big night.
Well, he does that against lefties. 281 against lefties, just 176 off right-handers. So it's 3 for 3 against Tsuyoshi Wada. But Alberto Cabrera now, Cabrera I should say, on the hill. Had some time in the big leagues himself. He actually beat these Redbirds with 3 shutout innings back on April 13th. Also got to win that same week against New Orleans in relief.
Well, you know, there's not a lot of standing around. When these guys get in the batter's box, they don't leave it. They stay right there, ready to hit.
Foul ground, and now we'll find the seats.
We've had some good plays in the stands tonight.
Absolutely. Nice grab.
Oh, give it to a young kid. That'll work.
So Kozma stays alive. Trying to keep alive his perfect night.
Probably see a steady diet of sliders right now, unless he tries to run a fastball in on his hands.
Cabrera well ahead in the count. On the run is Wells. They finally retire Pete Kozma.
Hit it well.
Now Jermaine Curtis drew a walk, scored a run, came around on a double by Tommy Pham back in the 6th inning. Curtis 0 for 2, a pop fly and a ground ball. Curtis appearing in his 29th game. He has hit safely in 21 of them. Pretty good walk to strikeout ratio. 10 strikeouts, 13 walks. Cabrera just missing inside.
That's very impressive right there, because he's got good discipline, good eye at the plate, swings at strikes.
Got a little time with a big club last year. 5 plate appearances for the Cardinals. 0 for 3 with a walk. Trying to battle his way back up, but again, just hard to find room to play.
Yeah, the Cardinals didn't get off to that great start. Of course, last year they hit a phenomenal average with runners in scoring position. This year down probably close to 100 points from that. But starting to play a little better, and they're still just a game out of first place.
A little bit of rain falling now in Memphis. Compared to what we've seen over the last day and a half and what the locals have seen, this is nothing. By the way, we've talked a lot about the great things that minor league ball clubs do in terms of promotions. Coming up a little bit later in the season, they're going to have Memphis Egypt night. here at AutoZone Park. They will have jerseys with hieroglyphics on them,
representing
the original Memphis, which was in Egypt and is in Egypt.
I'll be darned.
I mean, they're also going to have, you know, replica National League Championship ring day and things like that, but got to do something unique.
The minor leagues are great about doing that.
Two balls, two strikes to Jermaine Curtis. Out of UCLA, 5th round pick in 08.
Boy, just a tough out right now.
I was just about to say, battling with Cabrera.
Oh.
Somebody just missed a nice play.
Almost had it on the one hop. Went around the screen, got his hands on it. That might be an error.
Cabrera opened last year in Tennessee as a starter. Was an all-star. Jammed him.
I'll tell you, he is a tough out. You could see when you were talking about those numbers, not striking out too much and his base on balls. Spreads out, good 2-strike hitter. We're seeing a lot of players tonight that are going to be spending many years in the major leagues. And as we said, we didn't see the #1 prospect in the organization.
Oscar Taveras with a night off tonight. Off speed. Matt Cesar.
The ball goes nowhere in center field. But a good at bat that time by Jermaine Curtis.
Yep. So now Tommy Pham, and he has had a night. 2 for 3, 2 doubles, driven in 3 runs.
And you take your #1 prospect, you put him on the bench, you bring in a guy to replace him. All he does is drive in 3 with 2 hits.
Extra base hits. Just a reminder, hey, I can play too.
They're loaded. I tell you, they've got some good-looking young kids that are ready to go up whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Well, Pham's made the most of whatever playing time he's gotten since the month began. Coming into this game, batting .361 in the month of May. So now that's going to rise a little bit. Since then, 3 homers, 3 doubles, a triple, 11 runs batted in 13 games.
Boy, look at the age this out. I mean, Grichuk's 22, Pham's 26, Piscotty 23, Taveras 21.
First week of May, Pham homered in back-to-back starts. Slow getting started this year. Batted just .139 in 14 games in April. Baseball America calls him the Cardinals' best defensive outfielder among the minor league teams.
You know, they've had a nice little run here in this series, but there's a lot of talent here in a team that's still a game under 500 overall.
We've talked a lot about the Redbirds' talent. Obviously, Iowa with prospects as well, but Cooney's just been overpowering tonight on the mound for the Redbirds. Cabrera trying to close out the inning. 3-2 pitch. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across for the home team. We'll go to the 9th. Memphis 4, Iowa nothing. Back with more of the minor league game of the week here on the CBS Sports Network. It is 4-0 Memphis. We're in the 9th inning as Iowa has had the one base runner. And of course, next Thursday we'll be in Tacoma. The Albuquerque Isotopes taking on Tacoma. Join us right here on the CBS Sports Network, starting at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, Lauren Gardner. There's the man, Tim Cooney, trying to close out these Iowa Cubs. Eli Whiteside to lead things off. Native of New Albany, Mississippi, not far from where he was born. Played his college ball at Delta State. Looking for his first base hit, couple of fly balls. And Cooney announces that he has still got some stuff. Just off the plate, but he made the mid pop.
It's exciting. Exciting watching this.
Whiteside chosen by the Orioles in the 6th round in 01. Got in for 9 games in Baltimore back in 05. Pinch hitter on deck as the pitcher is scheduled to hit.
I think he got that pitch up a little bit higher than he wanted to that time. Took something off of the fastball. Looked like it could have been a change. 80 mile an hour, but got it up. And Whiteside took a good cut at it, just missed it.
Once again, Cooney ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Froze him with an off-speed pitch, and Whiteside will argue.
That pitch was close, may have been a little outside, but with the situation going on right now, we'll take a look at it. You see the catcher pulling in a little bit with his glove, which tells me it may have been out, but here's a guy that's always around the plate. He's been around the plate for 8 1/3 now. Only 1 base runner via the walk. Something to brewing.
Jonathan Moda, the pinch hitter, trying to get something going for Iowa. Came up on April 17th from AA Tennessee. Into the gap, on the run, Piscotti. 2 out.
Boy, fighting the lights. Ball hooked back to him, though. Ball hit right on the nose. And now these people will come to their feet.
It seems like in every game such as this, there's at least one play like that.
Yep.
Piscotti.
I thought it was down at first. I mean, it looked like it, but it started hooking back, and then he was fighting off the lights, too, to get there to make a great defensive catch.
Now Matt Cesar. Last chance for the Cubs. And his first AAA homer against these Redbirds. And a win back on April 13th, but he's 0 for 3 tonight.
Hopefully, if you're a defensive player right now, you're saying, hit it to me.
And your heart's in your mouth.
Now, with 2 strikes, that may have been a called third one. That was pretty close, but I like it. The umpire's going to keep working, and he's going to Adam Schwartz behind the plate.
2-0 pitch. Cooney is still popping that mitt.
And you can see the hitters right now looking at the umpire.
I would think in a situation like this, you know, you've got to be swinging up there.
Well, you got to be swinging, but you know, you can get caught up to it. Like an umpire could get caught up in the emotion of the game as well. You being a former umpire.
Not at this level.
Hey, a strike is still a strike,
That's
buddy.
true.
All right, tried a little change up, turned one over.
Now a hitter's count, one of the few that Cooney has faced tonight.
I think he's only been 3-1 on one hitter, if I remember correctly.
Cesar led the Southern League in hits last year. Tough out. Second base runner of the night for the Cubs. both by virtue of a walk.
Well, he's not missing by much. Even when his ball's off the plate, he's close. He probably knows, and these guys may have faced each other before. He may have known that he did lead the league in hitting, or they could have both played against each other. Would rather face his hitter.
Now Arismendi Alcantara is Cooney in a stretch for just the second time tonight. Oh, first base hit of the evening. Alcantara ruins the no-hitter, but listen to the fans, their appreciation for Cooney.
Boy, he got first pitch fastball and just a good diving try that time by Curtis, but the right thing's been done now. Go out there, talk to him, settle him down. You got your bullpen just starting to work. Pitching coach will go out, have a little talk with him, settle him down a little bit.
Ryan Eversgerd.
Yep.
Himself a 5-year veteran of the majors. Cooney just brilliant up until this point. Perfect game through 4 1/3. Walked one man in the 5th.
Well, we tried not to say anything. We were trying to be quiet. Didn't want to bust it up, but man. And you know, we had a little history that was about to be made.
There has never been a no-hitter in the history of the Memphis Redbirds.
I was just noticing too, one thing I like about the Memphis minor league team is they pattern their uniforms like the big league club. You go to some ballparks and you couldn't tell what franchise they belong to.
If Cooney can shut this down, it'll be the 8th one-hitter in the history of the franchise. And he's trying to reach back for something to retire Javi Baez. He's done it 3 times. The reigning PCL Player of the Week. Hottest bat in the conference. But he's controlled him tonight.
Wow, he just takes a
I was
big
just going to
hat.
say.
I mean,
He gets his money's worth every time.
That's amazing. As we said, he'll probably, watch this, that's strength. But he's getting beat right now on that fastball, but that's strength when you can take that bat barrel and point it to the pitcher and get it back to the hitting zone.
He was the Cubs minor league player of the year last season. Oh-2. Heck of a night for Cooney. Finishes with a one-hitter. The 8th in the history of the ball club. Takes a no-hitter into the 9th. Complete game shutout. And the Redbirds win it 4-0.
Boy, outstanding effort by Cooney. He had great control all night. Gets the one fastball up for the only hit. But I tell you what, we heard that he just had super control. And tonight we got an idea just to see how well he could. Had a command of 3 different pitches. Fastball, curveball, changeup. I'm pretty impressed with this ball club.
And a big smile on his face as he accepts congratulations from his teammates. What a night. As he flirts with history, Tim Cooney out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where he calls home now. The Wake Forest product. Memphis with a 4-0 win. And once again, the Redbirds ring up another win over the Cubs.
Yeah, they had a pretty good series here. They sweep the Cubs, and as we said, this is a rivalry that stretches down not only from the big leagues, but all the way down to AAA. And it's good to see a very happy Cooney.
Let's go down to Lauren with the man of the hour, Lauren Gardner.
The man of the hour indeed, Tim. Just the 8th one-hitter in the history of the club. I know it may not be quite what you were hoping for, but how are you feeling right now?
I mean, I feel really good right now. I had a couple bad outings coming into this game, and I just really wanted to get back on track. And I mean, I wasn't really coming into the game thinking no-hitter, but I mean, I had my stuff working. I mean, it's just a great feeling right now.
And who really does come into a game? You're obviously hoping for it. And after everything this club has gone through over the past couple of days with rain delays, and that wasn't quite the Gatorade bottle we were hoping for. After rain delays and everything, how were you able to stand and deliver the performance that you did here tonight?
You know, it was kind of weird because we had to get here pretty early today, and you know, it was a little bit off of what my routine normally is. But I mean, I just tried to be focused, stay focused, and just come in and try to do what I do, and you know, throw strikes and get guys out. So I mean, I tried not to worry too much about all the rain and all that stuff.
Piscotty made an incredible diving catch out there in right center field. What was going through your head there for that second out?
Well, right when he hit it, I put my head down. I thought I could have swore it was a hit, so I was kind of pissed. But I looked up and he made a catch, and it was just, I mean, it was unbelievable. My defense, I mean, it's cliche, but they made so many good plays today. So I'm pretty thankful for how they played behind me.
Real quick before I let you go celebrate.
There it is.
There we go. We were waiting for that to happen. Well, Tim, you knew you had to get the shaving cream in the face. Congratulations.
All right.
Go celebrate with your team and enjoy that doubleheader tomorrow.
All right, I will. Thank you.
It looks like that doesn't taste very good, guys.
And in grand baseball tradition, that's technically known as a pie in the face. But, you know, he brought up a great point. His last two starts are anything but good. They in no way resemble what happened tonight. He gave up 6 runs each to Omaha, Oklahoma City, gave up 12 hits to OK City, and 5 to Omaha, taking losses. So, you know, whatever it was that he came out to work on tonight, job well done.
Well, we knew he had good stuff. I mean, we looked up the scouting report on him. Everybody said he had great command of his pitches. Obviously, in the 2 outings before this, he really struggled a little bit as far as putting the ball in the location that he wanted to. But tonight, when he needed to get the strikeout, he'd come with a fastball on the inside part of the plate. He was able to throw the ball around 88 miles an hour, but his changeup was effective. Threw it, and, you know, that's the key to pitching, is moving the ball up and down in the strike zone, in and out, and being able to change speeds. You don't have to be a 96 or 97 mile an hour fastball thrower to be effective and to be a winner in professional baseball.
He talked about his defense, and really through the first 4 innings, only 1 strikeout. He let his teammates take care of it.
Well, you know, that's good, and that's what pitchers like him will do. They don't feel like they have to strike out everybody. That's what those other guys are out there for, and that's to back you up. And we saw good plays in left. Piscotty made a great play out in right field with a diving catch. And, of course, there weren't that many balls that were hit on the nose. So just an outstanding job of pitching by Cooney.
And his teammates also stake him to the lead, their early lead. They're banging around the extra base hits. You get the home run from Gitchik, and he could relax.
Yeah, he gets the home run early that Gritchick knocks out of the ballpark, and then they come back and get a couple more runs, which solidifies the deal.
That'll do it from Memphis, Tennessee. Final score, Redbirds win it 4-0. For Doug Flynn, Lauren Gardner, our entire crew, I'm Dick Gabriel. Scores, highlights, features, and more. Go to CBSSports.com. Be sure you join us next Thursday, June 5th. Tacoma playing host to the Albuquerque Isotopes at 10 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. And again, for Doug Flynn, Lauren Gardner, our entire crew, our thanks to the folks here at AutoZone Park in Memphis. Final score, Memphis 4, Iowa nothing. That's it. Good night from Memphis on the CBS Sports Network.